Hi, thanks for joining me. This is Angie at Chicken Scratch. This is the project we're making today, and this is card 1 for my Farmhouse Christmas Stamp Kit of the Month. Okay, let me tell you the supplies. We've got gray granite cardstock, and that measures 8.5 by 5.5. And then we've got Whisper White. This is just a quarter sheet for our images. That just measures 5.5 by 4.25. Then we've got Cherry Cobbler, 5.25 by 4. And then a Whisper White layer that measures 3 3/4 by 5. And then another gray granite piece that measures 3 by 3. And that's just for our circle right here. All the details about my Stamp Kit of the Month will be over on my website. We're going to start out by cutting the Designer Series paper, because those that get the kit is going to get all of these sheets here. And the first thing they're going to do is actually cut their cardstock or their Designer Series paper. Everything else is cut, but not the paper. Okay, so you get 2 sheets. Technically, that's the flip side. So I'm going to take that sheet out because that's for this card. And we're going to use our paper trimmer to cut that down. Okay, so that piece measures 3 by 3 3/4. So I'm going to cut it at 3 inches. And then 3 3/4. So this is for this card, and this is just extra. You can technically make another one of these, because you would just cut this one to measure 3 3/4 because it already measures 3. Okay? Now we're going to take the Simply Scored scoring tool, and we're going to score our gray granite cardstock at 4 1/4. I'm going to fold this over to form the card base. Okay, now we can go ahead and add our Cherry Cobbler cardstock right to the front. Okay, now we're going to add the Designer Series paper to the 5 by 3 3/4 right there. So I'm just going to put some adhesive on the back. Now I'm going to take the Festive Farmhouse cotton twine, and what I'm going to do first is go ahead and add my snail adhesive to the back of this layer, because we're going to be adding it to the Cherry Cobbler, but then I'm going to add my twine first. Okay, so I'm going to place the twine right about there, and I'm going to wrap it around 2 times. And I'm not twisting it, I'm just butting them up next to each other, just like that, okay? So I'm going to trim that. So there's that part. So I'm going to go ahead and add this to the base of my card. Okay, there's that. Now we've got our Whisper White layer here, and we're going to use our twine again in just a minute, but first we're going to go ahead and stamp. So I'm taking the image from the Farmhouse Christmas. I'm going to stamp it 2 times, 1 in each color. So Mossy Meadow, and I need to clean that image. So I'm going to close up my Mossy Meadow ink pad and get my Simply Chamois, and I'm going to clean my image. You can tell I have used this thing a lot. I want to make sure I get all of that ink off. Okay. Now we're going to take the Cherry Cobbler. I had it upside down. And I'm going to stamp that one right there. It looks like I got some fuzz on that one. Let's see. Let's see if we can do it one more time, minus the fuzz. If I can find it. Let's see. That should be okay. If not, I might have to stamp it again. Okay, so we're going to take this framelit and cut this one out. And then we're going to take the layering circles framelits to cut this one out. And then we're going to take the stitch shaped framelit to cut the gray granite out. So what I'm going to do now is get the Big Shot, and we'll cut those 3 pieces out. Okay, so here's the Big Shot magnetic platform and cutting pad. We'll start with the gray granite stitch circle. Now we're going to cut out the Mossy Meadow piece. I've caught myself calling Mossy Meadow a different color, so that's why I hesitated for just a second. I may have called it the wrong color earlier. I have caught myself doing that a couple different times, so whoops. Okay, this one right about there. And that piece right there is from the Farmhouse Christmas framelits. We will be using the other pieces on some of the other cards, so you're going to see how awesome that is as a framelit set. Okay, so let's get all of our layers over here. We're going to take one of our galvanized buttons. These are back in stock. They were on back order for a period, but they are not any longer. Okay, so this one right here is going to get attached with regular adhesive. This one's going to get attached with dimensionals. So I'm just going to add 2 right about there. You want to make sure I don't cover up any of the words. Okay, so now this is going to get added with dimensionals as well to the card front, but we want to add our button. So I'm going to show you another option you have. You could thread the cotton twine through that button and attach it to the front of your card, or you can tie a little bow. So you have your choice of however you want to do it. I found this one just to be a little bit more challenging for my fingers. I can make a bow really easily. I know some of you guys struggle with bows. So if you don't want to make a bow, then just tie a knot, and that twine just kind of naturally unwinds itself when you're trying to thread it through the button. Okay. So whatever you prefer, like I said, I love making little bows. So that's what I'm going to do. And I'm just going to add it to the top of the button with a glue dot. I do want to make sure that the bow is little though, so that it doesn't cover up anything. Okay, so glue dot. There's that. We're going to attach it also with a glue dot in just a minute. Let's go ahead and put dimensionals on the back of this one. And I want to make sure that I add the dimensionals. Uh-oh, I got ink on that. Up here at the top and down here at the bottom so that it goes over the twine. If you put it in the middle, it might go on top there. And then it might make it a little rocky. Or unstable, I should say. Okay, right in the middle. And then this is going to get added. Whoops. I'm trying to make sure I don't untie my little bow. Okay, so there's card 1. All the details are over on my website. I will probably trim this ribbon. It's a little too long. But there you have it. Thanks a lot. Bye.